What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Driving with Duck. I am just leaving work on this cold ass, Tuesday morning. I now work the overnights at my job. I have not done a video since my reflect-cation to discuss what I learned while I was on my reflect-cation, so I'm going to discuss that quickly with you. So on my way back from my reflect-cation, I was coming back across the miles listening to my Life in Music playlist on Spotify. Follow me if you want. Daniel Lee. You'll see my Facebook profile picture. You can take a look at my playlists. And I was kind of going over everything that I had done while I was in Virginia. Everything that I thought about while I was in Virginia. And I kind of felt like I was kind of hesitant to really want to come back because I was caught up in the moment of what I was feeling, my emotional challenges that I faced while I was in Virginia. I realized the biggest culprit of all the wrong that I felt had been done to me, all the things that I had happen over the course of my life, all the struggles that I dealt with over the course of my life were because of one person. The person that I trusted the most throughout the course of my life, the person that I went to the most for advice, the person that I went to whenever I was having deep struggles, the person that I hung out with when I had the most adversity, the person that I dealt with the most often, my running buddy, the person that I always thought I could count on whenever I needed the most help, the person that I looked to, my biggest confidant whenever I was going through it, the person that I thought gave the best advice. That was the person that gave me the most challenges, led me to the biggest struggles throughout my life. Coincidentally, was always there, was always in the wings whenever shit got sour. It was always their advice that put me in the worst situations. And I realized that person was the person that was in the mirror every time. That was the person that gave me advice to leave the house when I should have kept it at home. That was the person that told me to say yes when I should have said no. That was the person that told me to say no when I should have said yes. That was the person that told me it was okay when it really wasn't. That was the person that made me puff my chest when I should have sat down. That was the person that made me show conceit when I should have showed humility. It was me that put me in those positions. I did a video a long time ago where I said whenever you point your finger, there's always three pointing back at yourself. I could have used that advice on plenty of those occasions, but I seem to have forgotten myself a lot of times, and that happens. I had forgotten humility. I forgot to take it back to basics, and that's on me as a person. I did that to myself. That's what my reflect-cation taught me. When I was on vacation, I took two things with me. I took the clothes I was going to need while I was on vacation and my toiletries, of course. And I took my laptop because I had to do some work for this basketball league that I run, so I needed my laptop with me. And my first night in my Airbnb, I was going through my Google Photos because I wanted to scrub out my phone, so I'm clearing out my Google Photos. And I'm looking through a lot of selfies that I took, because my photos went all the way back to 2011. So I'm looking through all of that, and I always have said the eyes are the windows to the soul. And as I'm going through, looking, and that's when I realized it. A lot of the shit was my fault. My eyes are giving me away. I'm seeing the conceit. I'm seeing the deception. I'm seeing all the dumb shit that I've done. And I'm remembering the times that I took those selfies. I'm remembering all the instances where I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. I'm remembering all the sleepless nights that I put myself in bad situations, I'm remembering all the things that I did to put myself in those moments and situations that I shouldn't have been in. I'm remembering all the doubt that I put in my own heart. I'm remembering all the fear that I put in my own heart. I did all those things to myself. And I realized I should have been more humble. I should have kept it basic. I should have been the person that I said I was going to be. I forgot myself. And I need to take it back to basics. And for the rest of my vacation, for the next 3 days, I sat down. I really thought it through. And I said, I'm not going to speak on things and act on them. My words are going to match my actions. Too many people spend too much time beating their chest and not doing what they say they're going to do. They keep talking loud, not saying nothing, like my man James Brown says, right? A lot of people spend their whole existence talking a good game and not doing anything with action. And it's funny because you can even talk a good game and take action but not put your heart in it. A lot of people will talk a good game, make action, and have a half-assed attempt at it and not really want it. People will do shit just to say they did it, just to say that they took a crack at it, just to put another notch on their belt, just to say that they tried their hand at something. And that was me for quite a while. And I went back and looked over a lot of things, and I took a lot of things that had substance and value in my life, and I traded it away for a lot of different things that didn't make sense. And I realized after I looked at all of it, I was like, damn, this is not what it's supposed to be. This is not what I wanted. And so I have to dial it back. That's what my reflect-cation taught me. So running it back, I talked about when I was on Dewey Beach in Maryland. I talked about how I was dealing with depression. And one of the things I was dealing with was how much I had missed one of my closest friends, Heather, right? So she had sold the home that we used to live in, my best friend, and she was moving back to Florida. So I reached out to her last week, and her and I met up. We got closure. We had a couple days where we talked. We met up, had conversation. We closed up a lot of ends, talked about a lot of things. And I thank her for that. Because without that closure, without that conversation, we would not be in the spot that we're in now. That is my tribe right there. And that's a love that never goes away. That is someone that I care about and love very deeply. And that's a type of love that spans across lifetimes and doesn't change. And Heather, if you end up seeing this video, which I feel like you probably will, I appreciate you more than you know. And I appreciate that no matter how many miles are between us, we're still a tribe. But people need to understand in life, when you are going through things, when you're trying to get your life on track, when you're trying to work through things, not only do you have to set your sights on getting things done and making actionable things, you have to put your heart into it. Just talking about it doesn't make sense. There has to be structure, there has to be an order, and there has to be a definition to it. You have to have some humility to do things. You have to recognize the fact that some things that you do come out wrong, and you have to make the corrections to fix it and get it right. Because just talking about it is not going to get it done. And when people try and tell you sometimes it's you, sometimes it is you. And you have to know yourself enough to understand sometimes you puff yourself up too much and you got to bring yourself down. Remember that. This has been another edition of Drivin with Doug. Make sure to follow me on YouTube or search up hashtag Drivin with Duck, DRIVINWITHDUCK on Facebook. I wish you the best of days. Make the rest of your days worthwhile. Love and light, my friend.